talk about the major label system from your understanding, because I talk about this a lot, and I don't think, I want to have another voice on it, but talk about the difference between somebody just getting a bag up front versus owning your actual music and that trickling in every single month. You know what I'm saying? You make money. You've been full-time with music. I'm full-time with music. John Keith is almost full-time with music. Tell me the difference. What do you think the difference is and the negatives of being on a major label?
Yeah, so I think, obviously with the major labels, you're not going to own your music. So whatever bag they give you up front, it's like really, it's kind of like a loan. So they give you this money, then you have to pay it off with all your albums. So it's just like this continuous, it's just a continual thing of debt for your whole time. You're not going to have control of the music. And I just feel like when you own your masters, when you're indie, it's like, okay, you might not get 100,000 up front every time you drop an album, but okay, every month I can get XYZ, I can get 3,000, I can get 5,000, I can get this, and then you own that forever. One day, you could pass that to your family, you could pass that to whoever.
Right.
It's just basically, what do you want? Do you want a quick bag? You want a bag right now, fast, and that's all you get, or do you want to own something that can go on forever?
Right, okay. because you get that initial bag, and from I have very limited information and knowledge of like what the bag is like now. I always thought it was like 6 figures because that's been my experience. You know what I'm saying? But you're saying that the bag ain't even that much. You might get 30, 50,000, 60,000. Yeah. So here's the trade-off: you're getting 30, 50,000. You get the clout and the feeling of being on a major label. However, you now no longer own your masters.
Nah.
That means someone owns the recordings of your music. Somebody else owns that. Now you no longer own a percentage of your publishing is going to get given up.
Right.
And your royalty rate, you go from getting 100% of everything you earn to getting 15% of everything.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, and that 15%, you first have to pay back that 100,000 you got back from your slither of 15%, which is why artists stay in debt to the labels forever.
Mm-hmm.
Break down to me how somebody can make more money and actually have more control in a more thriving career staying independent.
I feel like you can make more money because the only way being on a major is a come up is if you never pop. You know what I'm saying? Is if you never make any money. It's like, oh, dang, we gave him $100,000 and he didn't do anything. It's like, okay,
and then
you
get
what I'm
out
saying?
And then you pop.
Exactly. But if you're actually like on your thing, making music, being consistent, progressing every time, before you know it, you got a $50,000 bag, but you're gonna be worth $300,000, $500,000, $1 million. But they don't have to change their contract with you.
Right.
They said $150,000. So it's like, if you believe in yourself, you're playing yourself in the long run.
Yes.
To almost take a deal. Yeah.
Right. Right. And there's a difference between signing an artist deal and being in a partnership with somebody.
Yes.
Because you can get to the place of, like, Russ built his thing up, and people give him a lot of slack and they hate on him, but like Russ built his thing up, signed a 50-50 partnership with Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Completely different versus, and then has access now to their marketing department, to their video department, to their PR. All of a sudden Russ went from being kind of like popping in the SoundCloud internet community to now he's on every single media platform virtually overnight. So major labels still do have that power.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Russ was already selling out tours, already doing a bunch of stuff that he was able to finesse that. And because he was doing all that, he had all that leverage, he was able to get a profit split, not a you own everything.
Fact.
And then he was saying that his indie catalog was still generating $100,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's inflated, but that's a crazy amount of bread to be generating $100K a month.
Facts.
Independent. That's wild, man. But the come up can be tough for some people. John Keith, you went from having February, and I have this written down somewhere. I believe February of last year, you were right at about 2,000 or 3,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
You're approaching 12,000 right now.
Yeah.
To some people, they would see that and be like, oh, but he's still not 200,000 or whatever. But like that's actually a pretty fast explosion if we're talking just numbers independently.
Yeah.
What was it like having to be patient through this year and knowing that like, yeah, I'm gonna get to the goal? And I remember me and you had like conversations like, where you want to be in a year? You know what I'm saying? You're like, I want to be at 10,000 followers, and you surpassed that. You know what I'm saying? But talk about the patient side.
Man, to be honest with you, It didn't. It all happened kind of fast.
So you feel like it happened fast for you?
It didn't feel like a lot of patience, to be honest with you. It felt like because of the fact that like it would happen in bursts. So I would get like three, like they came in the thousands for the most part. It was like I get 2,000 followers and I get 2,000 more or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it came in like waves. So it was like, it wasn't like a, you know, man, this is like a slow build. It felt like a big hit and then like a little bit of waiting and then another big hit and then another, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. That's how it felt like it happened, at least. So, but I mean, there was still patience, but I feel like we were just so busy. We were doing so many things, like it wasn't much patience. I was like working on Lost Boys, and then immediately after that, like started working on this next one, and then I stopped working on that and worked on Honey Blonde, and now I'm back to this next one. I'm almost done with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like it all happened really fast.
So you felt like it was fast.
Yeah, and then tour as well, and like.
Did you feel like you had to like? Did you feel like because you're doing really well? You're at what, like 15,000, 16,000?
Something like that, yeah.
Or did you feel like it was a slower burn and like the patience of it?
Yeah. I guess it just felt like, you know, I don't know. It just feels like whatever, to be honest. I just feel like, damn, my bad. I don't know. I don't really be thinking about like how it comes. I'm just want to just be thankful for everybody who's coming, and it just I guess I look at every follower as like a specific person, so I just be thankful like, okay, one person like it, bet let me make something, and then hopefully somebody else like it. So that's kind of how I look at it.
What are y'all thoughts about major labels finessing numbers, buying followers, buying streams on Spotify, buying likes, engagement? You know what I'm saying? Like all that could be bought. What do y'all think? Because I feel like that's because then somebody sees your Instagram and be like, oh, he's at 15,000.
He's not even lit, really.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, he ain't really lit. Yeah. And then so-and-so rapper on a major label is like, you know what I mean? Hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're not paying attention to the like to follower ratio, to the comments ratio. Like, what do y'all think about any artists or even independent artists that are thinking about buying followers, likes, subscribers for the sake of what we would call is social proof? Like it's like a proven concept because it's popular, therefore it has to be good. That's really a lot of it, right? Because something's popular, therefore it has to be good. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Y'all gotta stop lying, man. I'm looking at the cameras. Y'all lying out here because I feel like, you know, in life, if you start lying, you're gonna have to live your whole life on this trail of lies. Like, oh, it's just like, why don't you just be authentic? You gotta be comfortable in your own skin, and you be like, yo, if I feel like I make fly music, but I only got 500 followers, be that. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta understand, there's a cool factor to being, you know, the young dude or the young girl. You making cool music. And nobody know about you. Yeah, everybody be like, oh, this is my artist. You don't even know about him. I'm about to put you on. And it's like, yo, if you prop yourself up like you this big person, everybody's like, oh, he's cool, but he's so big. Like, you know, I can't relate to that. You know what I'm saying?
You were telling me that people will leave.
Yeah.
If you come off too Hollywood, if you look too popping, your core, your day one fans could leave.
Facts.
I like how you said making cool music. That first and foremost, it's about the music.
That's what everybody forget. You're a professional musician. Your job is not to buy followers. It's to make good music.
Make good music, then the followers will come. Is there a struggle in the interim? Like, clearly both of y'all make great music. Clearly y'all have something to say. It's different. It's unique. It's valuable in the marketplace, right? That's why people stream your albums and buy your albums and all that. But do you feel like the financial component of it to click for you to go full-time, you to almost be full-time, do you feel like that part was tough to kind of wait around until
a certain point?
Yeah, like a certain point where like, all right, cool, boom, now I don't got to worry about money as much because now there's money coming in from the music, and I actually see myself making a living off the music, like a comfortable living off the music.
You want to take this and I'm gonna follow up?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you just, to be honest with you, we've made you know, we've made money off of the music, and that's been dope. Because I remember before, when I was doing it by myself, to be honest, like I don't think I made more than $50 off of an entire project, like all together. You know what I'm saying? But I still, I don't think I'm at the point where it's like, oh man, like I'm financially.
Just to say, you're in that interim space. You're in that gray space of like, you were making 50, now you're making a little bit, but you're still not full time. You're still not like, oh, I could provide for a family and I could get married and I could take care of.
Not,
you know what I'm saying? Like you're not that place. So what is that?
That little point.
That in between spot. What does that feel like?
Oh, that feels frustrating.
That's actually the best part though.
You think so?
Because you know now when you make music and it's like, okay, I got worry about money to get this bill off or take care of my homeboy or whatever. It's just like back when it was like, oh, I'm not making no money, like it's chill. That's when I was like, oh, I love music. You know, I'm just a musician. Now it's just like, oh, I love music still, but it's just like there is the pressure of I have to provide with my music instead of just making it. So, yeah.
I feel that, and at the same time, like I'm like, it feels like I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? It feels like in order for me to, like I said, I'm impatient. So like in order for me to move forward, like with life, like meaning like being able to move out, get my own place, and like, you know, hopefully like get married soon. You know what I'm saying? Like in order to do those things, where I'm at right now, I'm like, man, like dang, like it's just not making that much. Like I feel like I'm not gonna go and get a job that's gonna make me hate my life. I'm not doing that. I genuinely believe God did not make me for that, because man, it was bad. See, because what?
Because you're impatient.
I'm impatient, and it's just that was the hardest thing I ever did. Not because the work was hard, but just feeling like I'm working here and nothing is moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And so like when I'm like, it feels like this. It feels like, man, if you were doing push-ups and you're doing endless push-ups and just like, man, this is harder than if I knew I had to do 50 push-ups. You know what I'm saying? And like I know where the end is at. Like I know where I have to get. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like I'm just in the middle. I'm just kind of doing it. I'm just kind of going. You know what I'm saying? Like